Vulnerability fosters good emotions and mental health. Vulnerability also is a sign of courage. We become more resilient and brave when we embrace who we truly are and what we are feeling. The Vulnerable Scientist podcast is a space for scientists who are honest and authentic or are working towards it. Join the vulnerable space by either sending an audio using the link on the show notes talking about your highs and lows as a scientist, or by contacting Sarah Nyakeri, aka New Biochemist, to schedule a chat. The Vulnerable Scientist podcast benefits both the listener and the one sharing. You can now rate this podcast on Spotify or put a review on Apple Podcasts or any other listening platform with a rating button. And to share your thoughts, feel free to send an audio message using the audio link, either using your name or anonymously, to be published on the following episodes of the Vulnerable Scientist podcasts. Are you wondering what I use to upload and store my website spaces? Host Pinnacle. I've been using it for over 2 years right now and it has never disappointed me. So host your website today using Host Pinnacle, cheap and affordable and reliable services. To start experiencing Host Pinnacle goodness, click on the link on the show notes and you will not regret your decision.
That was the first time getting out of the country in a capacity that I'm going as a student to do research. Yeah, sure. So the 3 months, actually that was so short. From 17th February 2019 to 17th May 2019 again to 17 May 2019. It was so short actually. It was full of happiness, doing a lot of things. Yeah, so we're in Erie. Because a chicken unit was under innovation, I was assigned to 2 groups. So apart from being in TIC unit, I was also assigned to. I wasn't actually assigned. I used to come to Lab 5. Yeah, I knew some people there. There was someone who was working under Nicholas Vite. He was called Robert. He's now doing PhD. Not the other Robert, but the different Robert. Yeah, there was another Robert. Yeah. So he was doing some work on African swine fever. That's when I learned here that there are people working on African swine fever vaccine. Something that I never knew, that there's a vaccine being worked on. I didn't know. I saw with my eyes people working on P67 vaccine, their subunit. I met people in Lab 5. Now they started explaining to me, we do it here. We are researching it now. Yeah, so one thing that someone told me in Malawi before I left was, when you go to Kenya, actually it was the head, the supervisor at Center for Ticks and Tick-Borne Disease. When you go to Kenya, open up your eyes, familiarize yourself, make connections, make friends with a lot of people, knew a lot of things. Don't go there because you are going there for this East Coast fever internship. No. Spread up your ideas and learn a lot of things. It will help you to shape your research career. Yeah. So now that time I'd made up my mind, like, I think this is the direction I should take. Making up my mind, I did that when I was in Erie. That I think this is the direction for me. Yeah. So when I was in Erie,
and you cemented it.
Yes, here in Erie. So apart from working in TIC-UNI, because in TIC-UNI we were doing a lot of the East Coast fever research was being done in TIC-UNI. I was just supporting, helping them, and day-to-day breeding of ticks, assisting in taking care of animals, experimental animals in TIC-UNI. Yeah, and then apart from that, in Lab 5, I was assisting also. There was the African swine fever project. Yeah, so I was just there. And of course, I was just spectating. So they were telling me, give me a pipette. Give me this, a box of tips, give me this and that. So I would just ask questions. What are you doing here? I remember I knew a lot of virological essays that time. I remember Rosemary, Saya, late Joseph, Elias, who else? Edwina, Christine. Not Christine, my supervisor, the one who no, but Christine, she's a teacher associate. Yeah. Yeah. So all these people actually helped me. Like I was just watching what they are doing and learning two things. A lot of virological essays. Some of them very complicated, like cruciferous essays. Yeah. Something which I have never learned in my life. I don't know them, but I knew them here.
Wait. How is it like moving? You talked about cities.
Yes.
But how is it moving from, that place? How do you say? A research lab in Malawi to an international lab. How different is it?
Like, well,
structure-wise?
I think the difference comes in different aspects. The organization itself, how the place looks, the facilities as well. Yeah, that is true. The facilities here are very much advanced. Yeah, because they only did the technology transfer a long time ago. So they still have those things which they're using back then. And also that it's a small area, it's a small center, there's not much. Yeah, so coming to an international research institute like Erie, something like such heaven, to be honest. Yeah. Advanced machines, advanced people are well knowledgeable, advanced in research skills, a lot of things that are advanced. Yeah. So coming from that setting, coming to this setting was like now upgrading my knowledge. Not only knowing, but also the skills as well. Because here I was placed on a hands-on basis. Yeah, they used to show me first of all, and later on let me do it. Yeah, like the tick breeding we're doing in tick unit, even lab 5, some of the essays I was doing them myself. Yeah, sure. So, yeah, so in summary, the 3 months internship to me was like exploring a lot of things in science and research. Yeah, so apart from that, I had an opportunity of attending some of the conferences that were happening in Erie. One of the notable ones that I still remember was the African Vaccinology Network. There was a workshop here in April. Yeah, for the African vaccinology scientists. So people were presenting things, people from Cambridge, people from across Africa, others even from abroad like Spain, US, they were invited to present. So I could see people doing research on malaria vaccines, doing things on different vaccines, even human vaccines as well. Yeah, there was someone from Tanzania was working on rotavirus vaccine. Yeah, a lot of things. So I began to now stretch in my what I was thinking as far as research is concerned. That's when I confirmed to say veterinary medicine is not all about just treating. There's a lot you can do. Your hands behind the cow. Yeah, so that's when I read, like, I think the knowledge that I've gained in school, I started cementing myself. The knowledge that I've gained in Luana, in school, I can use it now to do a lot. Yeah. When I was here doing internship in Kenya, that's when I realized that Kenya, they have done a lot even researching about different diseases here in Kenya. Yeah. I'll give you one example. If you are going to Google today, let's say brucellosis in Malawi, you will find a paper, maybe 1975, it was a report, maybe recently, maybe 2 years ago, maybe a cohort in a hospital or something like that. But the prevalence is not known. That has not been researched on. And it's not only that, there are a lot of diseases which are gray areas. So when I was here as an intern, that's when I made up my mind. I think I took this direction. When I gain this knowledge, perhaps I do masters, or maybe in the future I do PhD. I want to be established in my country, Malawi, as a researcher, working on different diseases affecting both humans and animals, particularly zoonosis. Yeah, so when the fellowship was coming to an end, to be honest, it was really sad. Why? The life I've had in Kenya. Yeah. That was life at another level. And I'm going back. So it was really sad. Yeah. But I'd made a lot of friends by that time. I'd made a lot of connections, a lot of network, not connections as such, but network. I'd made a very good network with a lot of people. I knew a lot of people. I remember Dr. Nicholas Vitek, I knew him that time. Dr. Edward Okoth, I knew him that time. Ekta Patel. Actually, Ekta, I knew her name way back because she did some, she did a number of articles on East Coast fever. So I knew her name, like Ekta Patel, but I didn't know who Ekta is. Until I came to Kenya. Yes. Until I came to Kenya, that's when I saw Ekta. Yeah, so.
But then how is it? Ever tell me about that. How is it? Like when you're reading about something, you're a student, you're reading about certain things, then you read on papers, published papers.
Yes.
Then you finally meet that person who wrote those things.
Yeah.
How is it?
You feel like you have seen God.
Oh my God.
Yes, you feel like you have seen God. Yeah. You get super excited and start telling him, no, I've read your paper, I've read this paper, I've read this paper. The moment I met Ekta, like this is Ekta Patel, but then she was the current position she's holding as the biosciences communications manager. For biosciences and also a scientist. So when I met her face to face, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I met Eric Favre, Professor Eric Favre. I read one of his papers way back when we were doing public health. So I went online, we were given an assignment to Google some of the zoonoses and some of the zoonoses. Then I found a paper that was published. And one of the authors there was Professor Eric Favre. I met him here face to face. Another person was, if I remember correctly, another person was Steve Maula. Of course, he is the former boss, the former manager of TIC unit. He retired. I saw him also on the East Coast Fever papers. Naftali as well. Papers I read that he had published. A number of people. Vishnene, yes. People like Anna Lacaster. Yeah, I had read some of their papers way before, like African swine fever.
Then you see the person.
Now I see the person face to face. Yeah, especially the first person that I met that now I was like, wow, was Ekta. Because of the East Coast fever. And also Naftali. So it was like, you have seen God. That paper that I was reading, the name behind is this person. Wow.
But then let me tell you, when I was, I had been given the opportunity and I was like, let me read about mycoplasma. Then everything that I'm reading about, I'm seeing some names, some hotspot names.
Yes.
Of course, you know about your supervisor and you see her name in different papers, but when you see different people, you're like, okay, who are these people? But you don't really think about it until you're in the lab and you see some pipettes written those names, or some parts of fridges that are written those names that you're reading. It's just, even if you don't meet them, some people you meet them, like recently I met some, like these are the people that I've been reading them, I've been referencing their work then you meet them in person and you do the work like together and they teach you something. It's just exciting, man.
One of the person I even told him, when I came to Erie, that the first vaccine to be produced for East Coast fever, the ITM, the first ITM, I was told one of the person that worked on that first vaccine was Roger Perry.
The person who retired.
Yes, Roger Perry. I met him face to face and I was like, Roger Perry, they're talking about is you. Wow. This is amazing. It's like meeting a legend. Yes. I talked to Roger Perry because, when I was here in Erie, I was quite active. So I used to attend Baker seminars. Yes. Yeah, so I used to attend a lot of seminars, even for ERIVAC, the ones we do every Tuesday. But by then it was physical. Before the pandemic. So, I used to attend. So, that's when I see those people face to face. Wow. So and so is this one. Wow. It's amazing. Yeah, so my intern was, because it was cut short because it was only 3 months. Yeah. So I go back home. So when I was leaving, it was really quite sad, of course. I had hopes I'm going to come back one day. I'm going to come back. I just had hopes that time that I'm going to come back. Yeah. And the project I'm in right now, I knew about it that time when I was an intern. The poster was already out. But I didn't know. The first, I had met Linda that time. Yeah. I didn't know that one day I'll find myself in that project. I didn't know. Yes. Yeah. So when I came back, I went back to Malawi. I remember it was on a Friday. 17th was on a Friday. 17th of May. It was on a Friday. Yeah, the plane took off around 12 midday. By 2 hours, it was only 2 hours straight flight to Malawi. Yeah. Then by 2 p.m. I was in Malawi. And the same driver who came and dropped me was the friend who was trying to come and pick me. So I had millions and millions of stories to tell. Yeah, so it was like back to default settings. I left Malawi when it was raining in February. I came back in May when it's dry. Now the environment has changed. Wow. Oh, it's good to be back. The driver's asking me, how is Kenya? All sorts of things. We went back to the university. Yeah, so they invited me to the faculty. And the dean asked me, how was Kenya? He did his studies here in the University of Nairobi. So he told me, did you visit Kabete? I said, yeah. Roa Kabete, Upper Kabete. I've been to, yeah. I was there. One of the former classmates is there as a professor. We were together. So, yeah, so it was quite exciting. So that was May. In the same month, we had elections in Malawi. Voting, yeah. So I participated in the elections of 2019. And June, that time I had now started writing reports, preparing for the defense. I defended my project on 27th of July 2019. That's when I defended my undergraduate thesis.
Hey,
officially.
You're so good with dates.
Yes, I officially marking the end of school for undergraduate. Yeah, so after that, it only took, was it 2 weeks? That's when I was having the interview. That was in August. I did my interview for the Graduate Fellowship in August. Yeah, we had a bit of instability in the country at that time because after the elections, some parties didn't accept the results, so it was instability. Okay, in short, the elections were rigged, so there was some evidence, of that. So, of course, we went again for voting in 2020. I was not there; I was here in Kenya that time. Yeah, but that time there was a bit of instability, so I went back home. I was okay. So what happened? Soon after I finished, I have to mention that Lilongwe Drift Trust had a project on African swine fever. So what they were doing, they wanted to look for ticks, those ticks, the ones which transmit now, the vectors for African swine fever in the warthogs. Warthogs is a bush pig, is a wild animal that also is a carrier of African swine fever virus. So they were looking for these ticks in the barrows. Later on, they wanted to compare the strains which are circulating in the domestic pigs and the strains which are circulating in the wildlife. So I joined that team, and because of the experience that I've had in Kenya, they made me field coordinator for that project. So I was busy that August, and I'm still in the capital. Luckily enough, I'm still staying at that same university in the same hostel. Yeah. So yeah, I was earning a living for myself because I was being given an allowance. So I was coordinating the field, sampling pigs, and collecting ticks as well in the month of August. 2 weeks within, then I had that interview. I did that interview when I was in Rumbi. I went to see my dad. So when I was in Rumbi, that's when I did the interview. Actually, I did that interview at my primary school, at that same daycare center. They had a good Wi-Fi, so I went there, I paid for it, and then that's where I did the interview. Yeah. So after that, I came back to the city because the project was continuing. Yeah. So within the school was planning a trip for the first vets to graduate to go to UK expedition. The school arranged for that. So being the first class, they have to make it of something that very interesting and appetizing, and making it like we should enjoy it. Yeah, so the school was organizing a trip that we had to go in September to UK. Yeah, so after I did the interview for the graduate fellowship in August, I went back to the city in Lilongwe, continued the project. We were supposed to leave for UK we left on 27th of August. I received the offer letter for the graduate fellowship on 25th of August. That's when I received. I remember I was at a friend's place in town. One of my former, we were together in primary school. So he went to do laboratory science. So he started working in the capital. So I was at his house. Yeah, so it was in the afternoon. I slept on the sofa seat. And then when I woke up, I saw a message on my phone. I checked the email. Congratulations. You have been awarded the fellowship. Oh, my dear. How? I'm going back to Kenya. I was all over celebrating. I took a screenshot, the upper section, of course, not all the details of the offer letter, posted it on WhatsApp. Oh, I was super excited. To God be the glory. That's what I wrote there. I'm going back to Kenya. Yeah, people were sending congratulations. Oh, congratulations. You've gotten your master's before graduation. Wow, this is...
Oh, you hadn't graduated?
I hadn't graduated. But then we're waiting for graduation now. And the final results, now that you are going to graduate with either a first class or second upper, we're not yet out. We're just defended, yes, but waiting for the results to be out.
So you're just done with school?
Done with school, that's all. Yeah, so that was still August, mid-August. Then, with that excitement, the trip to UK. So, out of my classmates, I think, to be honest, we were only 2 people who had been in a plane before. That time we used Ethiopian Airlines. So, from Malawi passed through Ethiopia and then went to UK. Yeah, that was another exciting expedition, my dear. I even have a lot of photos of it. Yeah, it was like again landing on the moon. Yeah, in 1 year. So that same 2019 I came to Kenya. That same 2019 I was going to UK. And I was expected to come back to Kenya that same 2019. So it was a year of breakthroughs for me. I was seeing that my middle name is playing a bigger role. I'm really lucky. Yeah, so... We took off for UK on 28th of August. So that time, I started receiving emails already from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology here. That the schools are opening in September. You need to be here to start the registration process and the like. Yeah, so I made clear that I'm in UK. I'll be back. I came back on, I think it was 10th? Yeah, 10th or 12th. Yeah. So I'll join them when I joined my colleagues when they'd already started learning here, masters. Yeah. So the final results came out when we were in UK. It was, I think, it was on 2nd of September. That's when the final results were coming out that you are graduating with, because I graduated with a second upper class degree. Yeah. So the final results came out that time. Yeah, sure. So I had like a complete transcript that time. Yeah. So when we traveled, we took off from UK, passed through Addis Ababa. I remember when I was in Addis Ababa that evening, because we took off in Malawi at 3 p.m. Around 3:30. We reached Addis Ababa around 8 at night. We took off from Addis Ababa going to UK at 9 o'clock. I remember the time properly. We just exchanged flights. Yeah, somewhere there. So, when at Addis Ababa, I made a video phone call to Linda. By that time, I've confirmed that I'm coming back to Kenya. Hi, Linda, how is Kenya? Kenya is fine. I'm traveling to UK right now. Wow, where are you? I'm in Ethiopia. I'm in Bole International Airport. Yeah, and it's one of the biggest airports in Africa, by the way. Yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah. So, with my colleagues.
Ethiopia too.
Yeah, so I'm in Ethiopia at that time, actually. Yeah, so I'm like, now I'm seeing countries. Yeah, so we took off. It was a quite long journey, but very interesting. I watched out of movies that night in the plane. We had very nice company. We had food 3 times. We were saved that when we just took off, 12 midnight, and it was around 4 a.m. We were still up there. We were served breakfast. We reached Heathrow around 6 a.m. in the morning. Reaching Heathrow Airport, I only saw Heathrow Airport in movies. I saw Heathrow Airport in movies. That was the first time I'm seeing the airport I'm in the airport, actually. So we are going to Scotland. We're not going to England. We're not ending up in London. We're going to Scotland. So, yeah, so from there we connected with another flight from London to Edinburgh. We reached Edinburgh around midday. Broad day, actually. Yeah, so the guys who were receiving us were already there. Wow, it was so exciting. I remember that was the first time riding in, which car was Range Rover Discovery. The team which was picking us, there were 3 sets of cars, a Range Rover, there was a minibus, and a van. So myself and 2 guys were in the Range Rover. I made a lot of selfies while inside, posting live on. I'm telling you, all the way from Malawi up to UK, the status were numerous on WhatsApp. You could even hardly see the dots.
Yeah.
Think. Taking pictures in the plane everywhere. Yeah. I even made a live broadcast on but then Facebook had not yet started. So I made the video and I'm in the Range Rover Discovery. Yeah.
My goodness,
Yeah, promotion or elections. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we reached Edinburgh from the airport, wow, it was nice. We were staying in Aberdawa. In Edinburgh, Aberdawa. So the expedition was supposed to be for 2 weeks. We were supposed to be exposed to a number of things, vet related, of course. So we are spread out. So 2 were placed in pairs. We were 12. So the first day we all went to animal clinics. So in Dunfermline, places around. The same with the second day. The third day we were now traveling as a group. We went to different places, touring Edinburgh City. Went to Edinburgh Parliament. We traveled several places. Yeah. Now one thing happened. Way back, when I was still in primary school, there was a book in the library where the book was titled Dory the Sheep. Dory the Sheep. Yeah, Dory the Sheep is the sheep that was... it was the sheep that grew from the lab. They grew from the lab. Just cells. Straight from the lab. Yeah.
Okay.
To a full sheep, actually. That thing happened at Royal Dick University of College of Veterinary Sciences and the University of Edinburgh. The actual institute is Roslin Institute. Yeah. So I read more about it when we were in college, about that sheep, which was, I should say, created straight from the lab. Just cells and then it growing it from the lab. Yeah. So, but I didn't know that Edinburgh, the Roslin is in Edinburgh. Until the day we went there. So we reached that date was on Wednesday, remember? We reached the Royal Dick College of Veterinary Medicine. And I'm like, but this place, I have read about this place somewhere. Isn't it this place where Dory the sheep was? I said, yes. See, actually, that is the institute. I was like, oh my God, what? I really wanted to see in my life. I told myself, I think I need to see where these people did this. The Roslin Institute, that's where they even have like a picture of Dory the sheep. And of course it died a long time ago. Yeah, but that breakthrough alone, that we can grow from single cell in the lab to a full animal. Yeah, I'm told the place also won a prize, and I know it was Nobel's Prize or something because of that science.
Why did they do that?
I think it was, in genetics. Over time, they started experimenting. How can we, with the cells, something like that. Like just advancement in genetics. Yeah. I think that thing has led to a lot of breakthroughs in terms of genetics is concerned. So if you are able to grow something from a single cell in the lab, it's possible, to do a lot of things that can advance maybe animal science, in food safety, and a lot of things. Yeah, sure. So we reached, they showed us the place around, we went to classes, we went to offices, until we reached the Roslin Institute. I was just smiling all over in the corridor. I'm like, oh man, this place. So I met Dr. Adrian Mwonge. He's Ugandan, but he works there now. a lot of people. I met Lisa Borden. She's also working on antimicrobial resistance. That's when I started also getting more interest of antimicrobial resistance as well. Of course, I learned some of it here in Erie. Yeah. So I was all over taking pictures, posting on Facebook, talking about stories about those blood places. Yeah. So the expedition was so wonderful. So after that, we went to Edinburgh Castle. Yeah. That was the first time riding in a double-deck bus, sitting on top. Things that I only saw in movies. Man. Yeah. We went to Edinburgh Parliament. Yeah. There's one organization that was part of funders of the Center for Ticks and Tick-Borne Diseases in Malawi. It's called GovMed. Yeah, it's also here. Yeah, the office are here. The headquarters is in Edinburgh. I met one of the senior directors by then when we were at the Parliament. So one of them told me, that guy works for GovMed. GovMed, like G-A-V, Med. Global Alliance for Veterinary Medicine. Medicines. Yes, actually, the headquarters is here in Edinburgh. I was like, what? Wow. So there was a day we were given a time to make some personal arrangements. If you have relatives in Edinburgh, you can visit them. Yeah, so I made an appointment with this guy to meet.
A relative. He became a relative.
Yeah, so I told them I'm going to meet someone at GovMed. So they arranged for me from where we were staying a car to pick me from there up to GovMed. I went to GovMed and met headquarters. Yeah, I met a number of people there that were still in contact up to today. Yeah. So I said GovMed was one of the organizations that I really wanted to know more about them because they were funding those studies on East Coast fever. Yeah. So, yeah. So apart from that, yeah. So after that time, we had only, how many days? We had only 4 days remaining for the expedition to be over. Yeah. So we went to, it was on a Saturday. Yeah. So previously, they asked us in the arrangement that, do you want to watch one of the matches for Premier League live? So we had accepted, like, yeah, we're going to watch. So they said there was one of those weekends was a match, Manchester City versus Watford. We traveled in a bus. They arranged a bus from Edinburgh to Manchester. To Manchester. And then when we reached Manchester, we went to Etihad Stadium. Yeah. Till today, I'm a supporter of Manchester City because that's the only team I've watched live playing.
Before that, you were supporting?
That time I was just a fan of Arsenal, sometimes Manchester United.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. But now, so, yeah. That time, I think Facebook had started these live videos at that time. I made a live video inside the stadium and posted on Facebook. I'm live here, I'm seeing Aguero. Yeah. And my friends back home were like, what? Yeah. We are watching the match here on TV and they're watching it direct.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice.
I saw Guardiola face with my own eyes. Because what happens normally in stadiums is like, the team will only come to play the match close to the time of playing. But normally supporters, they come maybe in the morning. We arrived the game started around 3 p.m. We arrived there around 11. So we are outside the stadium buying jerseys. They label for you the name. I have a jersey in my house written for Manchester City, but written Amos.
Oh,
yeah, I still have it.
Wow.
Original, not the one I bought, not buying it on the market, but I got it straight from outside the stadium.
Wow.
They normally sell outside, so there's a blinding point. So you just mention your name and they blind it for you.
Wow.
And the scarf as well.
I'll like to have one for Arsenal.
Ah, nice. Yeah. Yeah. So we went in the stadium. The match started. I remember that game. Man City won 7-1. Yeah, with Watford. Against Watford.
What? 7?
Yeah, it was 7-1.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Sure. Yeah. So I was so excited actually. So we came back to Edinburgh at night. Of course, it was the match in the evening. But before we leave, we toured Manchester City, around the city of Manchester. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that weekend, and we came back to Edinburgh. So now we were just now preparing for going back. So there was a time they asked us if you have anything to shop. There was a day we just went for shopping. That's where I shopped the bag that I carry, like that one. That I got it in UK. and some shoes, some other things for my siblings, Samson and Alice. Then few things that I could manage to buy that time. So after that, then the time of coming back had come. We traveled back from UK. So, but the school, before we took off, Luana, my school, had arranged that from UK, we're going to spend 1 week in Ethiopia. One of the professors who was teaching us, late Professor Melaku, he passed on last year. He was from Ethiopia. So he had made an arrangement with Hawassa University that we spend some time in Ethiopia. So, it's in Hawassa City. Hawassa City is the south of Addis. So from Addis, we had to go to Hawassa, Hawassa University. So from UK, it was in the we took off from Edinburgh. It was in the afternoon as well. We arrived in London around 6 p.m. We took a flight. We traveled overnight up to Ethiopia. So when we reached Ethiopia, we entered Ethiopia. We stayed in Addis Ababa for 2 days. We went to the Malawian embassy, and then we traveled now to Hawassa in the south. So we stayed in Hawassa for 1 week. We toured around. They showed us some farms. We did some farmers with our vet work. We had a great time in Hawassa. We were staying at the university. So we enjoyed. Went around. We really enjoyed it. Of course, that time at the end of the week, I got sick. I had the flu. So at the time when I was coming back to Malawi, I had the flu. So I reached Malawi. I didn't go back to Rumpi because of the time I was on. We arrived on Sunday. I was supposed to take off on Wednesday, coming here to Kenya now. So on Sunday, we arrived in Malawi. On Monday, I had to send those materials back home. So on Monday, I traveled to I was told I need to get all the details, the transcript, everything I had to get. So I was arranging for me coming to Kenya. So Monday and Tuesday, I was just doing that. On Wednesday, I went Kekio, coming to Kenya.
Do you want to start your own podcast? Start with some simple gear that you already have and a quiet space. Simple gear includes a microphone, editing software, and host of your podcast. Simple microphones include the ones on your phones and computers, or a simple recorder, which you can upgrade later. For the editing software, I use Audacity, which is free and simple to use. Buzzsprout, which over 1,000 other fellow podcasters like me use, is one of the podcast hosting providers you can use. Buzzsprout has helped me link my show on every major podcast platform. With the endless number and regularly updated tutorials and good customer service support Buzzsprout offers, my podcasting journey has been made easy. Following the link in the show notes, let Buzzsprout know we sent you. Gets you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and helps support our show.